You are Locked On Jets POSTCAST. Part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
A defense that allowed 21 points in the first quarter, a quarterback getting hurt, and a team that did not score a single offensive touchdown. What does that all add up to? A 34-10 loss for the New York Jets at home to the Miami Dolphins. Welcome into the Jets Postcast here live on the Locked On Jets YouTube channel, also in the Locked On Jets podcast feed, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. I'm your Postcast host, Chris Schubert, here with you to recap all of the Jets action from the day, a divisional clash. The Jets looking for a little bit of revenge when they woke up today. The last time these two teams met on Monday Night Football, it did not go the Jets' way. Well, somehow it got worse. This was a worse outcome for the New York Jets. As we mentioned, their defense got off to an extremely slow start. They lose Tyrod Taylor in this game. We get our first glimpses of Brady Cook as a New York Jets quarterback, and it was a rough day for the offense across the board. But none of it happens without the start that this defense had, and that's where we will start today's postcast.
This is what you'll be talking about.
15 plays for the Miami Dolphins offense on the first 3 possessions of this game, and it was touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. They just made it look easy, and the New York Jets cannot afford to have their defense start this slow. And it felt like they had gotten rid of this habit, right? This was a problem in the beginning of the season, the way the Dallas game started, the way the Tampa game started. You think of some of the other early games, the Buffalo game started this way. And then against Buffalo, against Tampa, against Dallas, the Jets just aren't good enough to compete with those teams. And so it just continues to slide downhill and they get blown out. They had kind of gotten away from that. Their defense had gotten faster starts. Their offense had also gotten off to some faster starts, and you're playing more competitive football in the first 2 quarters. Well, today that went completely out the window. 4 plays, 69 yards in 2 minutes and 14 seconds. The Dolphins are immediately on the board, and it was easy. Penalty on the first play from scrimmage before the Dolphins even snapped the ball. It's SZN on first down. It's Waddle on a trick play where the Jets have no idea who's got the ball. A lot of eye candy. Jets aren't able to pick it up. And then it's SZN again for 39 yards. And think about this. SZN leaves this game early with an injury and doesn't return. He finished with 7 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown. He gets hurt and leaves and doesn't even play in the second half and still nearly almost had 100 yards. So that first drive, the Jets got themselves an early hole. The next drive, not much better. 5 plays, 80 yards. Tua just picking them apart. Dulcich for 23. Darren Waller for 13. Waddle for 24. I mean, these are just big, huge chunk plays. And then SZN punches it in for 13 yards. I mean, not a single play in that drive that's less than double digits. Then the third touchdown, 6 plays, 29 yards. They take only 4 minutes off the clock. It's SZN for 7. It's Waller for 14. It's Tua for 6. It's Tua for 12. It's Tua for 3. And then he hits, Jalen Wright runs it up the middle for a touchdown. Just too easy. It's just too easy for this defense. And I know that they've traded guys away. I know that they had injuries during this game. But if you want to have a chance against this team, and this is a divisional clash, we want to see how the Jets can compete with their fellow members of the AFC East, because that is the litmus test. That shows you where you stand in the pecking order. And you just came up short. I don't want to say you were unprepared, because I thought the defense settled in and played really nicely after that. Forced like 6 punts in a row. They really did a nice job. But you can't start that well and then play great for the rest of the game and me come on here and say, oh, great job, defense. No. Was a brutal performance from this defense. You cannot dig yourself an early 21-0 hole, especially when you don't know this at the time, but you lose your quarterback in this game and you have to go to an undrafted free agent who was your quarterback 3 at the start of the season, who hasn't had any reps in a game this year. And he gets thrusted right in there to try to claw themselves back into this game. It's just a mess from the word go. Jets didn't stand a chance. They didn't stand a chance if Tyrod Taylor stayed healthy. They couldn't move the ball with him in this game. They couldn't move the ball without him in this game. This was just an absolutely brutal performance, and it starts with the tone that is set early. And when the Jets, over the last couple of years, when you get on them early, they kind of fold. They kind of just lean over, and you want to see this Aaron Glenn era this stuff not happen. You want to see Steve Wilkes have a great game plan. They come out, they have the right answers to the test against the Miami Dolphins, and they make it difficult for Miami. They force Miami to make some adjustments. What Miami came into the building to do didn't work. They've got to go back to the drawing board. Instead, it's the Jets immediately going to the drawing board. Now, credit where credit is due. Whatever they changed up, nice job after the 3 touchdowns. A punt at the end of the first quarter, which leads to the only Jets touchdown in this game. Isaiah Williams continues to be just one of the best special teams players in all of football. Then you punt, field goal, punt in the second quarter. So you hold them just to 3 points. And again, if you had an offense that could move the football and wasn't just 3 and out, we'll get to that here in a second. You may have had a chance to claw back into this game. Third quarter, 2 possessions for Miami, punt. You did a great job in the second and third quarter. What was that? 6 punts out of 7 drives, but touchdown on the first 15 plays of the game is just unacceptable. It's just not going to get it done. And then, yes, the big thing on the offensive side of the ball for the New York Jets, they lose Tyrod Taylor, leaves this game with a groin injury, and Brady Cook comes in. Tyrod finishes 1 for 4 with 6 yards, throws a pick, and that's it. And then they turn it over to Brady Cook. I mean, this is Jets offense. You want me to read the drive chart? I mean, this is ugly. 3 and out, 3 plays, interception, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, interception, end of half. That's the first half for the Jets on offense. The only points they scored in the first half were the Isaiah Williams touchdown. Then they only had a field goal in the second half. In the second half's not much better. 5 plays punt, 4 plays punt in the third quarter, a 12-play drive that ends in a field goal, a 7-play drive that ends in a failed 4th down conversion. 7 plays you're driving at the end of the game. Brady Cook throws a second interception. And there's nothing. Drops, John Mechie drops, penalties, snap infractions. There's nothing good to say about this offensive performance. And losing Tyrod, he's the field general. He keeps the offense on schedule. He keeps things moving. He gets Mason Taylor involved. He gets Adonai Mitchell involved. He gets John Mechie involved. They can run the ball with Breece Hall when they're not down 21-0. The offense just can kind of flow better. You dig yourself an early deficit. Now you kind of feel antsy. You feel like you got to throw your way back into the game. You kind of abandon the run a little bit. Breece Hall only ends up with 14 carries in this game. So your entire offensive game plan's got to go out the window. And I thought they did a nice job calling plays for Brady Cook as the game unfolded. I think it was a little jarring for everybody at the beginning when Brady Cook came in there because Tanner Engstrand hasn't called praise for Brady Cook. Hasn't been in his ear. They haven't had those debriefs at the end of drives. They're trying to figure it out together. And so you're learning on the fly while also looking up at the scoreboard there at MetLife Stadium, and you see that you're down 21-7. You see that you're down multiple possessions. And so you feel this urgency. And so you're trying to call the offense that you know that's going to get you back into this game, but you also have to try to dial up plays to get your young quarterback into a flow. Started this year as QB3. He's only QB2 this week because Justin Fields was hurt, and they had to elevate him to be the QB2. And he gets immediately thrusted into action. And so just 21-point deficit early. Brady Cook then coming into this game, you could just never gain any type of momentum, any type of rhythm. And let's talk about Brady Cook here before we take a quick timeout. He ends the day 14 of 30, 163 yards, the 2 touchdowns, got sacked 6 times. And you see some things there. You see some of the reasons why the Jets like Brady Cook. The mobility is certainly there. I do think his mobility isn't utilized enough. I think he a couple of times in this game escaped pressure and then just got back to the line of scrimmage and then just fell down, or got back to the line of scrimmage and immediately ran out of bounds. Now, perhaps the Jets, knowing that they would have to go to an emergency quarterback if Brady Cook got hurt, and he did get banged up in this game and had to go into the blue medical tent. So I wonder if that was a message of, hey, take it easy. We just want you sliding. We want you immediately going down. You want to see your quarterback try to turn upfield, especially when you can see it, and you don't need the all 22 to see it. You can see it on the TV copy. There's lanes, there's avenues, there's chances for him to maybe pick up 3 or 4 yards and at least keep the offense a little bit on schedule, maybe even a little ahead of schedule. So he has mobility, he has legs, he has that escapability. It just wasn't utilized all that much. He has some decent arm strength. The Hail Mary at the end of the game on the run, or the end of the half, I should say, on the run, making a good throw. I don't mind the 2 interceptions. He's a young kid. He's got nerves. I would rather him learn from these mistakes. And for those of you that are fans of Team Tank, you love this result to get to 3-10. The Jets improved their draft position, at least as of us recording this postcast. So you love that. But he's not going to learn unless he fails. And I think it's okay that he took some shots and they didn't work out. The important thing is that they don't happen again. He's able to see what went wrong on those plays on tape. And who knows, with a groin injury, Tyrod, an older player, This could keep him out for a couple of weeks. The Jets now sitting at 3-10. They have the Jags, Saints, Patriots, and Bills here the rest of the way. Maybe you give Brady Cook an extended run. I certainly was somebody that advocated for it a couple of weeks ago when looking at the Jets from a big picture perspective, because you want to know. You're evaluating everybody on this roster. You want to know what you have. And once the Justin Fields experiment came to an end here, Tyrod stabilized things, but it's also important to see what you have in Brady Cook, because you want to know, do we have somebody that could be maybe a high upside backup, somebody to just have on this roster? Philly, they've had Tanner McKee forever as their backup. Is it somebody like that who's a young player that's just developing behind the scenes, but you feel like can go in a pinch and do what you need them to do? The only way you find that out is by throwing him in there. And so, again, they didn't score a touchdown. They didn't move the ball very well. They had all those 3 and outs in the first half. I am not trying to paint with rose-colored glasses this offense. They were abysmal today. Could not move the football. The drops. Couldn't gain anything in the running game. Quarterback taking sacks. Quarterback turning the ball over. It was awful. But I do think it requires the proper context of, hey, you have an undrafted free agent quarterback who just got elevated to the QB2 spot this week, immediately thrusted into action in the first half. The bright lights at home, the Bluebirds were already out in this game, and he was able to go in there, and at least now he can say that he's taken some snaps at the NFL level, and if he needs to go in there next week, he now has that experience in his back pocket. We got to talk about the one good thing that the Jets had in this game, and then the stuff to keep an eye on as the Jets will head into a matchup with Jacksonville next week. We will get to all of it and your thoughts here on the other side. The World Cup coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. We had the draw on Friday. The U.S. knows their group now. 48 teams for the first time ever. This is going to be massive. But let's be honest, getting tickets, usually the hardest part. That's why the Game Time app is clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. Pick a game, tap a section, and have your tickets locked in within minutes. No confusion, no hunting for fine print. The prices include fees up front, which I love. No last-second surprises at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets and every match, concert, or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Game Time. Holidays officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. I was doing some gift hunting earlier this week. I will be doing it again this upcoming weekend. My wife's birthday right around the corner, Christmas right around the corner, a lot of shopping going on. If you want something meaningful, personal, and a guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. Not just something you wrap. It's a way to share memories. Because Aura isn't your average picture frame, you can preload the frame with photos before gifting it. So when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. Endless uploads of pictures and 30-second videos through the Aura app. You can add a personalized message right inside the frame so the gift feels thoughtful from the moment it's open. From a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using the promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code LOCKEDON. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. NFL Sundays move fast, and everything, one play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the moment flips after a turnover. FanDuel, they let you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. Keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Back here, the Jets postcast, the Locked On Jets YouTube channel, the Locked On Jets podcast feed. Chris Schubert here with you. Don't worry, John will have you covered all throughout the week. Share his thoughts on the Jets' 34-10 loss here in the podcast feed, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. And this is a tough one. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. The defense, awful. The offense, awful. Special teams, great. Isaiah Williams, great. Another kickoff return, punt return touchdown for the New York Jets this season. What's that? Their 4th special teams touchdown that they've had this year. Just excellent. I mean, just an excellent group. I will say this. They had a chance. Austin McNamara had a punt inside the 5-yard line. Kind of got carried into the end zone just by a smidge. So special teams has been great all season long. They've been great with the field position game. They've been great with the return game. I know Isaiah Williams, when he first got here, had some issues. I think he had a fumble really early on since becoming the kick returner, but he's really settled in. And just in general, it's really a weapon for the New York Jets. And I think I said this a couple of weeks ago during a postcast. It can be frustrating that this group is so strong because it is truly a weapon in today's NFL, with the kickoff rules being what they are. With points being so important, and any chance you can immediately have yourself in field goal range, just a huge benefit to your offense. Makes everything easier. It's so easy to score those extra possessions that you can get because you have a great kickoff return, or the possessions that you can stall out because you force a team to start inside the 20, inside the 15. And they've got to go a longer distance to pick up that field goal. The Jets are really, really good. You'd love for them to be winning a bunch of games and have this weapon in their back pocket, but it is great to see. And the reason why it's great to see is not only because the results are great, but Chris Banjo selected by Aaron Glenn to be the special teams coordinator. And Tanner Engstrand, I think, is a fine offensive coordinator. A lot of the coaching that Aaron Glenn has brought in here, you're very, very positive about. You like the long-term vision of Tanner Engstrand constructing an offense if and when the Jets get a franchise quarterback in here. You love what you're seeing from Chris Banjo and the special teams. The defense, I think the jury's still out. Didn't like what I've seen today. Overall, the body of work this season hasn't been very good for Steve Wilks. But in general, you like seeing these young coordinators that have never been coordinators before, that have been put into these positions, succeeding and having success the way Chris Banjo, especially on the special team side. It's great for the future. Those are the types of things that you want to get excited about. But it does feel like this was the last couple of weeks, now 2 steps forward, and now it's 3 steps backwards. This type of game wasn't supposed to happen, right? It felt like the Jets had put this type of game in the rearview mirror. They've been better as of late, playing competitive even in losses. New England on Thursday night still were competitive in that game. Jumped out to an early 7-0 lead in that game. Against Baltimore, jumped out to an early 7-0 lead in that game. This game was supposed to be the thing of the past. So with 4 games to go in the season, you want to see this be a game. Bury the tape, learn from it, but do not repeat this. You need to make sure this game, this type of start doesn't happen again this season. The big storyline to keep an eye on this week, who is going to be the quarterback for the New York Jets when they take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. 4 games to go this season. Tyrod Taylor leaves this game with a groin injury. Brady Cook comes in for him. So who do the Jets have at quarterback next week when they take on Jacksonville? Who do they have as their quarterback for the rest of the season? My vote, I think because of the injury to Tyrod Taylor, I would use this as an opportunity to see what Brady Cook has. You're 3-10. We know the coaching staff's going to stick around for next season, at least the head coach, the GM. They're not going anywhere. Use this as an evaluation point. Give Brady Cook a full week's worth of reps with the ones. He can sit down with Tanner Engstrand, can sit down with the offensive coaches, can dissect actual NFL film of him being in a game, and then he can start the game plan for his first NFL start. So to me, that's what I would do. I hope the Jets use this as an evaluation point, and hopefully they can get off to a better start next week against Jacksonville. That is going to do it for us here on the Jets Postcast, here live on the Locked On Jets YouTube channel and in the Locked On Jets podcast feed. Appreciate you hanging out with us after each and every Jets game throughout the course of the season. If you are new, you want to hang out with us, and the moment we go live, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. You'll get notified the moment we start the Jets Postcast here once the Jets are done with their action every single week. The Jets fall 34-10, a rough divisional loss to a divisional opponent. And to add insult to injury, Zach Wilson out on the field to end the game for the Miami Dolphins. Just made me shake my head at the television screen when I saw that image of Zach Wilson kneeling out a victory for the Miami Dolphins in MetLife Stadium. But Jets have 4 games to go this season. Could it be an opportunity to see what a young quarterback has to offer for this team moving forward? Hopefully they take, if they do choose to go in that path, that they give him every opportunity to grow and develop and let him rip it, right? Just take these next 4 weeks, throw caution to the wind and just try to go out there and compete every single week. John will have you covered throughout the week with his thoughts on the game and get you ready for next week against Jacksonville. We're back right here next Sunday to break it all down. Have a good one, Jets fans.